In today's world, Japan stands out as a blend of ancient traditions and modern marvels. But what about the women of this intriguing nation? Are they merely objects of kawaii culture, or do they hold a stronger, more complex place in Japanese society? Let's unpack the intricate reality of Japanese women's lives. For thousands of years, Japan was largely an agricultural society where men typically cleared the land and women cultivated crops. Consequently, when Shintoism, the indigenous religion of Japan, started taking shape, it reflected this division of labor. In Shinto beliefs, women held a respected position, often associated with fertility and nature's power. You might have heard of Inari, the fertility goddess. She's widely worshipped, symbolizing abundance and growth. Such reverence suggests that historically, Japanese society appreciated women's roles in lineage continuation and sustenance. Even after Buddhism arrived, women continued to serve in influential religious roles. Female Buddhist figures like the nun Goshiki Nyobo played vital roles in temple administration, land management, and preserving ancient texts. However, as Japan moved through various historical phases, the narrative shifted. During the feudal shogunate era, the Bushido Code of Conduct started emphasizing male dominance, and women's roles narrowed to primarily domesticity. The introduction of Confucianism also contributed to this change, reinforcing patriarchal norms. By the Edo period, a strict gender hierarchy emerged, limiting women's education and curtailing their freedom. Marriages were arranged to strengthen alliances, and women were expected to adhere to the 3 obediences and 4 virtues, showing obedience to their father, brother, or husband, and embodying virtues like femininity, faithfulness, skill, and diligence. The Tokugawa government's sumptuary laws also heavily regulated women's fashion and accessories, signaling their status through attire. In contrast, during the Meiji Restoration, women's lives underwent a significant transformation. The new government sought to modernize Japan rapidly, introducing Western ideas and practices. This period saw some progress for women's rights. Figures like Fukuzawa Yukichi advocated for women's education and independence. However, despite increased literacy rates, traditional gender roles remained largely intact. The early 20th century brought about the so-called New Woman movement. Inspired by Western feminism, women demanded greater autonomy over their own lives, pushing for legal reforms, better working conditions, and entry into male-dominated fields. Yet societal resistance to these changes was substantial, often portraying these women as overly westernized or problematic. When Japan entered World War II, women's roles expanded as the war effort required a larger workforce. Many women took up jobs in factories, shipyards, and military support, showcasing their capabilities. However, their wartime experiences were often marked by hardship and the blurring of traditional gender lines. After the war, Japan's economic recovery led to a period of rapid growth and changing gender dynamics. Although the 1947 Constitution granted women the right to vote and hold office, deeply rooted societal norms continued to dictate women's primary roles. Many women were still expected to prioritize marriage and motherhood over careers. And while the feminist movement gained momentum in the 1970s, advocating for equal access to education, employment, and reproductive rights, progress was gradual. By the late 20th century, Japan grappled with declining birth rates and an aging population. This prompted the government to implement policies aimed at encouraging childbearing, reflecting a society where women's roles remained central to national concerns. Today, Japan faces the challenge of reconciling deeply ingrained traditions with evolving gender roles. With a shrinking population, the government actively promotes marriage and child-rearing. Policies like the Cool Japan initiative seek to attract foreign brides, aiming to address the declining birth rate. At the same time, movements like Me Too have shed light on workplace harassment, highlighting the persisting issues in achieving gender equality. To truly understand the lives of Japanese women, we must delve beyond the clichés. Yes, Japan celebrates the concept of kawaii, a fascination with cuteness that permeates various aspects of popular culture, from character goods to idol culture. And women are often at the forefront of this aesthetic. Take J-pop idols, for instance. These performers are generally young women who come together as a group and become massively popular for their music, dancing, and overall charm. What's interesting here is that these women are often seen as symbols of perfection, both in appearance and behavior. They uphold a particular standard of beauty and cuteness that becomes a big part of their appeal. However, it's crucial to recognize that behind this idolized image lies a carefully crafted facade. The lives of these women are highly regimented. They face intense training regimes and strict rules set by their agencies. While they enjoy fame and a loyal following, their personal lives are largely exposed to the public, and they have little control over how they're portrayed in the media. This raises questions about the commodification of women as images and the unrealistic beauty standards they're often subjected to. Moreover, this kawaii culture isn't just about women as objects of aesthetic appreciation. It's also a reflection of a society that places a premium on youth, cuteness, and an almost childlike innocence. While this might seem like a mere aspect of pop culture, it holds deeper implications. It contributes to a societal perception that views women through a narrow lens, often prioritizing their appearance and conduct over their capabilities and aspirations. The emphasis on kawaii intersects with the concept of otaku culture, which refers to a subculture deeply immersed in anime, manga, and other forms of Japanese animation. Now, this might seem like a niche interest, but it has broader societal implications. Some aspects of otaku culture can perpetuate problematic stereotypes. For example, the obsession with 2D characters can divert attention away from real-world relationships and the needs of real people. It can also contribute to a culture where objectifying women in media is normalized. When women are mainly viewed as objects of aesthetic pleasure or collectible items, it reinforces a culture that reduces women to their looks and reinforces gender inequality. However, it would be unfair to paint Japan's engagement with women's issues solely in a negative light. Japan has made considerable strides in promoting women's rights and addressing gender disparities. Significant progress has been made in areas like education, employment, and political participation. Laws have been enacted to prevent sexual harassment and violence against women, and numerous organizations advocate for gender equality. The government has also recognized the importance of women's economic participation, implementing policies to support female entrepreneurship and leadership. Additionally, there's a growing movement within Japanese society to challenge traditional gender roles and promote more balanced representations in media and advertising. The Narkutu movement, for instance, serves as a testament to women's growing agency and willingness to challenge deeply ingrained norms. Understanding the complexities of Japanese women's lives involves acknowledging both the progress achieved and the challenges that remain. It's a nuanced reality that goes beyond the cliches of kawaii culture and the monolithic view of a conservative society. Japanese women today are a vibrant, diverse group navigating